All right. Hi. Good afternoon. Uh, I'm gonna get a little serious. I don't take things too seriously, especially myself. At least I try not to take myself too seriously because we all know where that leads. But I do want to talk seriously for a moment just about this project that I'm getting ready to work on. And what it is, while I'm waiting for stuff so I can finish working on these, I was looking at some videos on YouTube and I ran across the latest Wood Whisperer video, and he's doing resin cast memory frames, something like that, for charity, Woodworkers Fighting Cancer. And I've been lucky; I haven't had any scares cancer-wise. My immediate current family has not had any scares cancer-wise. However, my mother, she died about 12 years ago now, and she had dealt with breast and colon cancer for a good portion of the last few years of her life. She didn't suffer, but she certainly wasn't happy, and she just got to the point where she just was tired of dealing with it and gave up. So yeah. So anyway, uh, there's going to be more details in the video description down below. But basically, if you go out and you do something like this, and post a picture of it, put up a YouTube video of it, and Woodworkers Fighting Cancer will donate a few dollars to the to fight cancer in your name, and that's what I'm doing right here. So anyway, let's go ahead and get going. And oh crap, okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut real quick, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you what the plan is. All right. So anyway, Woodworkers Fighting Cancer, they're only going to donate for one project. That's all you have to do. But I'm going to go ahead and knock out a couple of different ones just to try some different techniques. And the first one I'm going to do is a seascape shadow box type thing. And Cambot, I hope you can see that. I don't know how well you can see it, but Cambot's got these little pieces of fan coral here, and then some shells that she wanted to put into some kind of shadow box thing. So this is like the perfect opportunity to do this. And then I decided, I'm going to do a Halloween theme thing. So I'm going to I've got some cheesy Halloween decorations, and even some. Let me see if I can turn these on for you here. There we go. I usually have a hard time turning things on. So there we go. I got some pumpkin light bulbs here, just little LED ones. So anyway, let's go ahead and I'm going to show you what the plan is, and we'll get started. So let's go fast motion. Zip. Okay, take number 3, and I'm not going to show you takes 1 or 2 because I was just all over the place. Anyway, I ran down to my local non-big box hardware store, and I ended up getting some well, casting resin here. Well, not really casting resin. This is really the bar top stuff, and it's not meant to put on a coat that's more than about 1/8 of an inch thick, but that's going to be fine for this, for what we're doing here, because I'm going to put on multiple thin coats is the plan. And that way I don't have to mix up too much resin at one time and deal with, you know, a lot of issues. You do need to be careful when you're working with the resin, and with that being said, read the instruction sheet carefully. Make sure you understand it. And you can certainly you might probably want to use eye protection, almost certainly want to use eye protection. Depending on what the instruction sheet says, you may need to use hand protection. You may need a respirator. You may just be okay getting in a well-ventilated area. That's my plan. I'm going to make sure the air is moving through the house when I start doing this. I can't really do this outdoors. Just too much dust flying around. So anyway, the other thing that you want to have on hand is probably a heat gun. And the heat gun is going to be so as the layer of resin cures, that's schmutz in there, as the layer of resin cures, you're going to start getting some bubbles in there, and a heat gun is a great way to get the bubbles out of the resin. You can blow on the resin, you can use a propane torch. I think the heat gun is a safer and much more practical means of doing this. So, yeah, that's really about it. The only other thing that you need to do is make sure that your stuff that you're going to put in the resin is actually going to fit into the resin, and I did do that. I have worked on my Halloween thing a bit, and yes, all the lights work. So we'll see what happens after I pour the resin. But and I also used some of the 5-minute epoxy to plug the little holes in the corner where I ran the wires. So anyway, with that, it is time to mix some resin. So I am going to go kick on the air conditioner, so we've got plenty of air blowing through here, and well, yeah, be right back. Okay, we are done. And and this is what they look like. I'll get you a close-up picture earlier, but one thing I do need to, I should probably warn you about. When you're doing your pours here, it probably would not be a bad idea to put some painter's tape on the face of the frame, because I had a couple drops spilled that I didn't notice, and now I'm going to have to go back and do a little bit of touch-up sanding, and then probably give it a quick spritz of with a refinish. And all I did for the face frame here was some spray on polyurethane, and I think he gave it a pretty nice. I think he gave it a pretty nice finish. So looks good there. And of course, for the back side, I had a small leak when I did the first pour, but it did seal itself. But that's something you might want to watch out for. So it probably would not hurt to run some tape just around the edges there, just in case. Either that or do a very, very small first pour. Now, both of these could use an extra pour. I'm not saying they couldn't, but I think I'm done. But right now, the thought is to let them cure completely. So before I do anything. Now, as far as displaying them, I think the best way to do it would be to put a couple of eye bolts in here, and then of course some picture wire, and this would easily go up on the wall, and I think it would look pretty good. So the Halloween picture or frame, on the other hand, is a little kind of crazy. There's the lights. Actually, you know what? Let me turn off the overhead light and get a better look at it. Yeah, there you go. So this is, like I said, this is a little crazy. It's working fine. I just kind of went to town on it. Just had all sorts of fun. Although right here, the bats, I don't know how well you can see it, but I got a nice 3D effect going on there from the different layers of epoxy that I poured. So it doesn't look as nice as the other frame, but it's cool in a cheesy sort of way, I think. So you know what? Make of it what you will. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the build and it gave you an idea for doing this. And again, this is something you don't have to make your own frame for. If you don't want to, you could certainly do this with a store-bought frame. Just make sure you go around and you do seal it up really, really well before you start pouring any resin into it, and use a fairly deep frame. So again, I think it's something, it would be a good craft project. And that's kind of what this felt like. It was more like a craft project than a woodworking project. But you know what? Like I said, it was fun, and you know what? It didn't really feel like work. So, and that's a good thing. That's what this hobby is all about for me right now. It's not making it feel like work. I want to try to have some fun and try to improve my skills. So, anyway, go out there, try to have some fun yourself, make some memories. Or at least some memory frames. So with that, I will talk to you later.